I'm standing here in one of the biggest gold mines in Nevada history. This is Eldorado Canyon. Now, if you guys remember in one of our Lake Meet updates, we talked about Nelson and how Nelson had a massive flash flood in the 70s that killed 9 people. Well, this is the valley, one of the biggest gold mines. I heard it was over 100,000 ounces of gold got found out of this mine. So for those of you that might not understand the significance of finding 100,000 ounces of gold, we'll put today's market value and what it would be worth today. So you could see that there was an absolute ton of gold found in this valley here. I heard it was everything from gold, silver. I'm sure they were probably finding some borax out here. I'm not completely sure, but we're gonna go ahead and look around. So this is the Eldorado Canyon, but the mine that all of the gold was found in was this one right here. I have no clue how to pronounce that. Techaticcup, established in 1861. Starting off, I mean, it looks like we got some sort of old school building here. I don't know if it burned down, but it's really neat. So this is the main building that you go into to pay for everything. The owners in there, they got all sorts of artifacts and really cool old pictures. You guys definitely want to stay tuned because we're gonna go in there and look at a lot of the old artifacts they have from this valley, pictures and history that they've got in there. All right, where are we at?
Let's go tour this place. 2 videos ago I was talking about Nelson's, how it got flooded, so we just came down to check it out, maybe talk to some people in this old place and see what happened when the actual flood came down here, the flash flood, because this is a very narrow valley. So just wanted to come down here. It'd be interesting to talk to people, and it's only like 25 minutes 30 minutes outside of Vegas. So look at this beautiful scenery.
Yeah, beautiful mountains.
They used to find a lot of gold out here. I heard that when they came out here, when the Spaniards came out here a long time ago, gold was actually sitting on the surface. They could see it, you know, just laying on the surface. Nowadays, you know, there's no gold on the surface, and all this is private property, so you can't really get into the gold. But you know, just it's still cool to come out here and see what, you know, happened a long time ago.
So this is all the old mining city here, and if we go down that way will be the Colorado River. So we're definitely going to check out the river before we leave also. But as you guys can see, I mean, there's just tons of awesome stuff to look at, and we're going to get into all of it right now.
That's interesting. That's kind of like that stone that I found. Remember I found that stone?
Yeah, that looks exactly like
it. Looks like a big piece of silver or something. Very cool. What is this?
That's what they said that the Colorado River and Black Canyon looked like before they dammed it up with the Hoover Dam. Really low, as you can see, and that's 1990 when the Hoover Dam was built. You can see that looks like it raised a ton. Yeah.
So this place is interesting. You run this place. What are some of the things you guys offer?
Yeah, we bought this. This is the Techaticcup mine. We bought it 28 years ago, and what it is, it's the oldest and richest gold mine in southern Nevada. Mm-hmm. There's 3 miles of tunnels inside the mountain across the road, and we do tours into it 3 times a day. We do a lot of photo shoots. Me and my wife are hoarders, so we collect a lot of old cars and trucks and junk.
Nice.
They won't let us live in town anymore. We have so much stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then we do a lot of weddings and photo shoots and all kinds of stuff.
So you know about the big flood? It was 78 is when it
74.
was? 74. So what was that like living through that?
So in September of 74, it was a Saturday, a big rain cloud came up over on the ridge right here, and it stayed for 3 hours just dumping rain, like 2 to 3 inches an hour. And it never came over this ridge. Now Nelson's Landing is 5 miles down from here, and there's 3 washes that came into it. And so after about an hour and a half, the cloud punched over, started raining real big here. And some of the people that lived up here in Nelson would call the marina down below, go, hey, there's a big flood coming down the road here. And whoever they were talking to at the marina wasn't wrapping their head around how much rain was coming. All the people on the river were fishing that day. It's Saturday, it's nice. Well, hell, it was September 22nd, I think, or 1st. So it's almost to the anniversary of it right now. Well, they thought that what they would do is just go get in their boat, or get their boats launched and get out of there before the rain got to them. So they could see the cloud coming down, The only problem is there was a flash flood right underneath the damn cloud. So what they said, it was in 5 minutes after the rain started that the flood hit them. And it couldn't have been a worst case scenario. Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And they said that wall of water right when it hit the bottom down there was like 8 foot tall, running up on the side of the banks, you know. Pushed 25 cars, boats, and trailers up to a third of the way across the river. There's still a 69 Chevy truck about a third of the way out there. It's got, the tires were on it for years and years, and somebody stole the tires about 5 years ago off of it.
Wow.
But it had bias ply tires on it. But it killed 9 people. They found all the bodies within a couple of weeks except for one. They never did find the one guy. But one of my school teachers was in that flood.
Wow.
They closed the marina after that for almost 50 years before they opened it up again.
Yeah, so we're out visiting from the city, just enjoying all this stuff. Is that a javelina? It is, huh?
Yeah.
Up top? I like this thing right here. Get all those bugs on it.
That was just sitting out, so.
The old steamboats, 1910. Interesting history.
Yeah, that's how they used to travel the Colorado River back in the day.
It's what it looked like when the big flash flood took everything out. I've never been out here.
It is pictures of the original miners.
Look at $10. Looks like a brown recluse. Yeah, I've never been out here. This place is pretty neat. It's hardcore right there. Those guys just digging in those mines.
This is some of the Native American artifacts down here. From the Native Indians on here. Some old pottery, bunch of tools. You can see big spearheads. There's a big axe head right there.
The Nevada Historic Society.
There's no date on this picture, but you can see that there are some of the Native Americans with the people out here. So like we used to tell you guys through a lot of our videos, when we were out fishing for stripers, and one time I pointed down in the river and I showed you one of the trees that are deep in the river, and I told you guys that the water used to be a lot shallower until they built the Hoover Dam. These pictures from like the 1800s when the water was really shallow and the explorers were coming through, and even pictures like this with the Native Americans along the river, you can see how different it used to look back in the day and how shallow it was.
Tiny little creek.
Yeah, it was a river where they could still take steamboats up, but it wasn't real consistent, and there was areas where they couldn't bring the steamboats past. So that's very interesting. After they dammed it, that thing went straight up.
But prices of gold over the last 200 years?
Yeah, these are some of the documents from this gold mine right here. These are receipts for just 4 years, from 1916 to 1920. Show 4 billion bars of gold and silver were poured out of here. 4 billion bars of gold and silver. Look at this one over here.
What's all this?
These are payrolls for the Western Mining Company. It's a payroll.
Wow, guys were getting $160 for 31 days of work. Brutal.
It's probably a lot back then.
Look at that pitchfork just made out of wood. That's the rare Colorado River water dog. You don't want to see one of those out in the wild.
We should ask them what this building used to be used for, but this was probably like the main center for all the miners to get drinks or whatever they were going to do, food,
Yeah.
anything like that. That'd be my guess.
So what do we got planned for this week, Havasu?
I have a cousin coming in town, and we want to show him a good time like we always do for our family and friends. And we're going to head down to Lake Havasu and go film some of the stuff that's going on down there. But this video, we're going to continue to tour this mine out here. But let's tour some of the old buildings.
Look at how they used to bring water out here. Water tower. That's cool.
Yeah.
Normally do a lot of hunting, fishing and stuff like that, but every once in a while we just want to come visit small towns, you know, ghost towns. There's another place that we want to visit in the near future. It's a crazy clown hotel. A lot of things around here to do besides going and wasting all your money gambling. Stuff like this is pretty neat. The history is fun.
It's an old piano.
No way.
Authentic piano, huh?
Look at this old piano. That's amazing.
Somebody back in the day, probably in that building. From my guess, if I had to guess it, that was probably like an old saloon. at some point, you know, people, you know, all the miners would want to go drink or something after a hard day's work. This piano was probably in there with somebody playing it and everybody dancing and drinking and stuff. I have no clue what this was used for. You know, it's hard to tell what these buildings were used for. There's actually a lot of saddles right here, so maybe this was where they would store all their mules and stuff. And they got some trapping equipment up there where they probably used to trap some furs and stuff, because there's a lot of furs out here you could trap. A lot of these old saddles though. You know what, this had to be a spot where they stored their mules to transport all the gold ore and silver ore that they were finding. You saw on that sign 1867 was when this place got established, so that's before any cars, that's before any motors or anything like that. So a spot like this obviously needed a lot of mules, and they used to fill up big things and have these mules moving this gold ore, most likely down to the river where they'd throw it on a steamboat and it would head to wherever it needed to go. That was the easiest form of transportation back in the day for this specific area before, you know, cars were made. So very neat. You definitely do not want to touch one of those. Those things will hurt you bad. My old dog Diesel, my hunting dog, he stepped on one of those one time and I had to spend a long time trying to pull all the little spines out of his foot. Not fun.
So out here there's a lot of tourists. We're going to talk to some of these tourists, see where they're from and how they like it out here.
Hi everyone.
Where are you guys from?
We are from Italy. Okay, we are here for 10 days in Las Vegas and LA and Grand Canyon and so on. We are traveling around.
Oh, nice. So 10 days in the United States visiting all this area?
Yeah, a very short time, but we are trying to do as much as we can and driving around. It's really nice. Yeah, it's completely different from Italy because, you know, those isolated places, long highways is completely different.
Yeah, so you guys are here visiting this and we want to go to Italy to visit all that.
Why not? I mean, you're more than welcome there, over there. Yes. Now, but we love too much this place, of course. No.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes.
Well,
No, especially the great, you know, landscape. How do you say in English? The nature of the place is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
normally when we drive in Italy, after few miles you can find a village. Here you can drive an hour, you don't find anybody.
Yeah. So yeah, nice meeting you guys.
The same
Thank you.
for us. Yeah. Enjoy. Take care. Okay.
Hope
Good
you
luck
enjoy.
for your channel. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao.
How old would you guess this is? You guys know in the comments down below. Drop a comment, because it looks like an old work truck. What is it, old Dodge? An old Dodge. I want to know the year and the model. There's a challenge for you car gurus out there.
I've never seen a truck with windows like that.
Yeah, so the year and the model, it says old Dodge. This is the actual mine area where a lot of the gold was coming out of. You can see all their elaborate works and different tools they were using. We can't walk all the way back in there, but we'll walk up to the edge and look at it. You think those held water?
Yeah, had to. I don't know.
Maybe they would hold the gold ore or something in there. I don't know. I have no clue.
Juju. I found the car that I'm gonna buy you when you graduate high school.
That's crazy. I walked by that car and I was telling him it was nice too. Which one? The one right there.
Go see if he'll sell it to you. Think he'll sell it to you?
I'd take it. He might.
If you roll around to high school in that thing, you're gonna have to beat the women off with the bat.
So it's a little bit of a bummer that we can't walk way back there to look at some of the stuff that was going on back there and how they were mining. But you can kind of see just some of the machinery they were using right here. That big pulley system right there was probably used to lift gold ore out of that mine back in the day.
Oh man, look at this thing. 30 years ago I would have put some Daytons on that thing. Had a little speaker box in the back. Man, this thing's amazing. There's probably rattlesnakes all over the place out
I've seen
here.
about 10 of those chipmunks.
So if you came to Nelson and got caught messing around with people's claims or taking their gold, this is where you would end up. 130-degree weather. Imagine being locked up in this thing. Wow. So we're out here looking at all this stuff and we have another tourist. Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Valerie and I'm from Belarus.
Belarus, that's over by Ukraine.
Yeah, and Russia.
So what brings you out here to this area out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, I came here for 3 months to work and travel within a work and travel program, and I was always dreaming about visiting West Coast, so here I am for a week. Yeah, traveling with my friends. We just arrived here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It looks a bit crazy, but I like it. I mean,
Yeah, it's very different, right, from your country?
oh yeah. I mean, the country itself is different, especially like in a general cities in New York, Boston, they're completely different. But here, especially this like old mood, yeah, sure.
All right, well, have a nice time here. We're just out interviewing people, seeing what's bringing people out here and where they're from and stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Nice meeting you.
You too. By the way, what's the name of your YouTube channel?
Sin City Outdoors.
So I might be wrong, but a lot of that to me looks like a lot of the old ore. Maybe after they filtered all the gold and silver out of it and everything they were going to take, obviously they got to have piles of the stuff that they no longer need to use, or just kind of overburdened stuff that they don't want anymore and has no value, because there's these big stacks of this white dusty stuff out here. My guess is that that's all old stuff that they already pulled all the gold and silver out of. Well, I guess I found the actual general store. This must have been the original general store back in the day, where you can come buy all your goods. Food, water, probably whatever you needed to buy. The floor has been redone. Man, this place was tiny back in the day. Wonder what they used to sell in here. If I was the owner, I would make this place into like a cool little shop, make it look like it used to look, you know, back in the day. Maybe build the walls up how they had it, and old bottles of medicine and water and, you know, food, whiskey, whatever they were buying in here back in the day.
Taro, 2 mangoes. What kind you want, Eater?
Mango.
Another mango and another mango.
It's a good steamy day out here. It's good to enjoy, you know, help support local little shops and everything. Got some ice cream. How is it?
Pretty good, spicy mango.
What do you think?
It's pretty good, you know. Spicy mango. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Welcome to Nelson's Landing. This is the spot Senior talked about in a video not too long ago, where a big flood came out and killed 9 people in this valley. There used to be a little marina that would be down here that people could launch their boats at and fish from. It looks completely different now, but down there is where it used to go. So this is one big long canyon that comes down through this valley. You can see it stays super narrow for a long ways down there. We even got some footage of some really cool narrows down there, but it stays narrow for a long ways. And this right here is where the people back in the day that were at that gold mine we were filming, they used to come up the Colorado River and stop their steamboats here and offload and unload gear to be able to move easily. So they used to unload their stuff and work their way all the way up here, and it looks like you can even go that way. So they would go through the valley all the way up towards Eldorado Canyon and all those mines that are up and over there where all the gold was. But back in the day, a really big flood came from over there and started washing down here, and it washed down, and it happened to unfortunately kill 9 people that were at this marina at the time. Bad timing if you ask me. But areas like this are extreme areas you really have to watch out for when it starts to rain, and they've obviously got signs of it everywhere right now. But back in the day, you know, if they didn't know that this area was prone to flash flooding, a lot of people did get caught. I just think it's very interesting because there's almost 200 years of history that is right here in just this canyon. All the old timers, all the old gold miners, all the people pursuing a dream, you know, with the gold rush and everything, were traveling this Colorado River and traveling through this canyon at one point in time. So that is extremely wild to me. I love going to spots where there's a lot of history and a lot of stuff that has happened over, you know, the last lot of years, I guess you could say. An interesting thing to note is back in the 1800s and early 1900s, when a lot of these gold miners were coming out here, there was still a lot of Native Americans that lived along this river. And it's very wild because if you guys remember, when I was out fishing this river for striped bass, not too long ago, I looked down and pointed at some trees that were down there submerged underwater. And I used to tell you guys that back in the day, the water was a lot lower before they built 2 dams. Back that way is the Hoover Dam, and that way is the Davis Dam. And when they did that, the water level skyrocketed upward. History definitely runs deep out here. It is extremely interesting to me, and I just like sitting and just looking and imagining what it would be like to be sitting here on this exact mountain almost 200 years ago and watch those people interact with the Native Americans and offload and onload equipment from those steamboats. It's mind-boggling.
All right, guys, so we are home now. Adrian and I were actually editing this video. Before I close this out, if you've lasted this long watching this video, I want to show you something, because that means you guys are interested in this content. So I started looking for gold and gold mining. Not really a full-blown prospector, but I started going out and looking for gold in the state of Nevada. Thought it was interesting, really like gold. Spent thousands of dollars on equipment. I went out, I was traveling, thousands of dollars in gas. After about $7,000 or $8,000, I found like $10 worth of gold. So I was like, there's no way that this is possible. It's actually really hard to find gold nowadays. Then it's all private property and everything. So I'm gonna show you guys something. So we came up with this product. Oh yeah, here's all our hats, by the way. Appreciate you guys ordering all the hats. We came up with this product. We said, how can we go and give somebody the experience of finding gold without spending all that money? So this is what we came up with. I looked online, and there's actually companies that will sell you dirt. So this is 3 different companies, and it's not to get rich off the gold, but it was just to have the experience. You know, these run about $25 to some of them are $50. I don't know, they're all different prices, but the amount of gold I was finding in these was not that great. So I said, why not create my own? So right here we got the golden dirt bag, which we sell, you know, for Sin City Outdoors. And in that comes a dirt bag with about 7 ounces of dirt in it. I include a vial. I include what's called a snuffer. It's a little straw for picking up gold, and I include the whole pan. So I made this because, you know, everybody doesn't want to go spend all that money, and then you got to go to the different places to buy anything. So instead of doing that, I package up this whole kit and I send it to your doorstep. So that's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate all the support that you guys have given. And those dirt bags, they're very hard to make. I got to get the dirt from the gold, so it's kind of a hassle to do. We only make 100 at a time. So if you want one of those, they'll be on the website goldendirtbags.com. But other than that, appreciate you guys helping us out. We're gonna head out to Havasu, doing some water updates and fishing and all that stuff, and having a good time. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you outdoors.